Good morning. All right, I had to use a mirror to make sure that the camera view was where I wanted it. And I actually have a pot holder underneath my phone to keep it steady. So if this video gets posted, it will be a miracle. But last time I tried, it was way too high, and I don't have professional equipment. And everyone is sleeping. So, good morning. Today, I am making something that my grandmother used to make. She used flank steak a lot of times, but I have leftover pot roast that's been shredded. And I have the broth from the pot roast. The carrots and potatoes, what was left, it was basically mush. So I just throw that out. I mean, I probably could have, I don't know, put it in the food processor or something, but I want to do that. This is called ropa vieja. I am not Latino, but I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida. And Tampa historically has its traditional food as a combination of Cuban and Italian. And since then, of course, I mean, it's very diverse. There's all cultures there now. But when I was growing up, those are the main two influencing factors with food. My grandmother is not Latino. She's actually from Indiana, United States, so Midwest. Her parents on her father's side, her family was Pennsylvania Dutch and Amish. So I do know how to cook apparently some of that food, and I didn't even know I knew how to cook some of that food. It's just stuff that my grandmother did. So I can do that. But when she married a man named Joe Valdez in Tampa, his sister, Azuela, taught her how to cook for him. And this is one of the dishes. You can get this at the Columbia and other restaurants in the area. I've had a delicious one before at this little bar, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. And Brandon made a wonderful one, and he used burgundy wine, but I do not have any wine. So I'm just throwing this together for later in the week. I've done this in the crock pot. A lot of times I'll make it and then put it in the fridge for a couple days and then serve it. It's real good. But basically it means old clothes. It's just what you want to, you have some leftover meat or you don't have a lot of meat and you want to extend it. This is what you make. It's really good. Traditionally it would use green peppers. And I did ask my husband to get green peppers, but he doesn't like them. So we have yellow and red, which is fine. You could also do this with chicken. Basically, it's just a way to use up meat and make a cheap, easy dish that tastes delicious. Everything was washed beforehand. I cleaned the sink for you guys. Georgie might make an appearance. I don't know. Once I start messing with the meat, he might come over here, but he is strictly a carnivore, and he does not appreciate vegetables of any kind. Right, Georgie? Let me see if I can... I hope my camera stays in place. Last time I tried to make something, everything was up here and you couldn't see anything I was doing. So maybe someday I'll get more professional stuff. So hello. The kittens are doing well, and I want to, I keep calling them kittens. They're really not, but we still call them the biddies, which is our little nickname for the little kitties, the baby kitties. They're not so little anymore. Poppy got spayed, and another cat of ours got spayed, my son's pet. And the next two to get spayed should be Patrick and Leroy Jenkins. And I will try to post a video for them later in the week. I'm still working my retail job, and I was told this is the last of the busy weeks. We have a visit, corporate visit. So we have 5 days next week. Today, I'm going to take my youngest. His birthday is not till February, but he's been wanting to get his ears pierced for the longest time. And I said, okay, you could get them pierced as long as they're not the big, huge, round ones that make huge holes in your ears. And he's like, no, nothing like that. So that is a thing here. Well, this is the United States. Whatever your thing is, you can do that. All right, so peppers. So previously when I made this, I would just cut them into like little thin strips. But the last place we went to, which was the Columbia restaurant, we went to the one here in Kissimmee. It was really good. I don't know if we've been to all of them. They had several ones. Our favorite one isn't there anymore. They used to have one in St. Petersburg on the pier. And you could sit there and look out over the water. And I loved it. It was wonderful. And, you know, they're all wonderful. The service is usually just top notch. And the food is really good. So my husband took me and he ordered ropa. And I ordered Cuban sandwich and some bean soup, and it was delightful. But my husband goes, why are we here? He goes, this is exactly what you cook. I said, I know. I said, I'm just homesick, and you know, I wanted some food from Tampa, you know, my hometown. But it was very flattering. You know, their soup and mine are just about exactly the same, but I'm gonna maybe make some of that next time we, you know, uses ham, but I think instead of ham we might just use like smoked turkey legs or something. I don't know, I'm not sure yet. So it's basically 1 to 2 bell peppers. Oh, I mean, if you just have 1 bell pepper and it happens to be green, great. Oh, this is slippery. I'm making a big mess. And onion is really necessary. You could probably get away with just 1 pepper or even half a pepper, but you have to have the onion and you have to have the garlic, which I have the garlic here. Is all I had left. I had no idea that I was almost out of garlic. So normally I would use like twice that. Okay, and the meat would not already be cooked. It would be fresh from the market. And as I would cook, I would add the meat in, and then I would make the broth, and then I would, cook it till it was well incorporated, and then I would take it and put it in the fridge and then bring it back out. But I'm not doing that. The meat's already cooked. I did have garlic in that dish, and I can always add a little powder, which I don't really like, but I do it. And I need some tomato paste. You could add some tomatoes in there. Which I'm gonna put tomato paste. It doesn't have to be totally squashed. But anyway, at the Columbia, their vegetables were really fine. And I don't usually the vegetables in mine are pretty visible. But it tasted about the same. I mean, theirs, I guess, would be a little more authentic since my husband doesn't like green bell pepper. It upsets his stomach. And that's fine. You can buy sofrito, which is the sauce. It's, they make a sauce, or I would say like broth with pork knuckles, things like that. Green pepper, onion, garlic, and tomato paste. Probably a little oregano, but I've never made it like that. Probably because my grandmother's not Latino, and this is what she was taught to do by Aunt Asuela, which unfortunately they're divorced, so I've never seen any of them. I remember going to a birthday party and everybody spoke Spanish, the Cuban version, Tampa version. So when I say speak Spanish, that means, you know, there's so many different dialects, just like anywhere you go. So if you learn Spanish in high school, like I took 2 years in high school, I do not say I can speak Spanish, because if I did, nobody here would understand the word I was saying, or they might, and they would think it was funny. I think my Spanish is like 2-year-old level, you know, so I can't really communicate that well. But as a girl, I knew no Spanish, and everybody was so kind. I remember they gave me the girl that was my age, she had a special plate to eat off of, and they gave it to me to eat off of. And I don't remember what was served, but I just remember being out there in the backyard and just watching them run around and play, and everybody was loud and crazy, and I didn't understand a word. And I think I was really young. I was maybe 7 or 8, something like that. I shouldn't have put that virgin olive oil in. I don't have regular olive oil either. We're out of a lot of stuff. And the grocery prices have not gone down, so and olive oil is super expensive, so I'm going to put a pat of butter in there. Hopefully raise the smoke level a little. I know you're not supposed to use virgin olive oil on anything but like salads and stuff like that, for stuff that's not being cooked. But this is not going to be fried per se. It's more like a saute, and I'm going to turn that down just a tiny bit. Anyway, I would love to video my son getting his ears pierced, but I don't know if we're going to be allowed to, because, you know, it's in their store, in a tattoo parlor, and I don't know if the owners will allow it, but if I'm allowed to videotape his, I will. That would be fun. Now, I don't know how salty this broth is, because I do need to add some salt to the veg. We don't want it to be too salty. This is the beef broth. Just gonna It's not salty. Put some of that. I'll add some Italian seasoning towards the end. Kind of cheating. It's got oregano and basil and a few things like that in there. I do not have, I had my own oregano, but the cold weather killed it off. We are having an unseasonably cold winter here. Usually it would never get that cold this early in the year. It's only like January. But we're supposed to maybe get snow. I noticed we have some new subscribers, and I really appreciate that. That's really awesome. We're just a little home channel. As you can see, it's not a professional channel. So please forgive the little screw-ups and technical difficulties.